What's up, good people, and welcome to the Elephant Wisdom Podcast. And this is your podcast of motivation, inspiration, and domination. So dominate or don't. It is entirely up to you. I am your host, Hark Jos, CEO of Sons of SPPhillips, and today we're tackling a topic that affects high achievers everywhere: balancing ambition with well-being. Today is episode 19 of the Elephant Wisdom Podcast. And this episode is called Health and Hustle, Balancing Ambition with Well-Being. And it's in recognition to the month of June, which is Men's Health Month. It's also my birthday month. And today that we are recording it is June 10th, which is also my birthday. Thank you, Enrique. Enrique just wished me happy birthday in Spanish. He didn't think I understood it, but I do know a little bit of Spanish, so egg on your face, buddy. Before this episode begins, I have to let you know this episode is brought to you by Sons of SPPhillips. Sons of SPPhillips is an online boutique that specializes and sells new and slightly used designer and name brand clothing and apparel for men and women. Also, custom clothing, apparel, and accessories. Go to www.sonsofspphillips.com. Get 70% off on most items daily. Any purchases over $45 gets free shipping. www.sonsofspphillips.com. If you're new to the podcast, as you know, I am an advocate of mental and spiritual wellness. It is my belief if you don't at least have these two in check, then you're going to have a lot of issues in your daily life and achieving any goals and trying to make things happen for yourself, because I believe those are the key to having balance. Now, you can have your physical health, you can be the most toned and physically fit person in the world, but if you're not mentally or spiritually fit as well, you're going to falter at some things. That's just my opinion. If you don't like it, you can leave me a comment and we can debate about it. It's great if you have balance on all three and all three are in check, but I definitely believe you should have your mental and spiritual fitness in check. So that is what we try to accomplish here on the Elephant Wisdom Podcast. Like we said, we're here for motivation and inspiration so you can dominate each day. Make sure to follow us on our social media platforms at Sons of SPP on IG, Facebook, and X. That's Sons of SPP. And also, because we're going to be moving forward on a couple of things, we have a TikTok page if you're not aware. And the TikTok page is SPP Media, which is being maintained by Enrique. And the SPP Media page is the content page for the Elephant Wisdom Podcast, our Sons of SPPhillips sponsors, and also our sister podcast, the Thursday podcast with the two Harks, online shows and podcasts. So the SPP Media page is for all three of those and anything that we do under that umbrella. And like I said, Enrique heads that, and there's a lot of content on there about this, that, and other. So you may see some things about the store, you may see something about the two Harks, you may see something about the Elephant Wisdom Podcast, you may see some photography from the Her Photog. So SPP Media has a lot going on. So you need to really be a part of it because we are moving forward. So when I say moving forward, we're going to start to go live on TikTok. And some of those lives might be me, Hark Jos, and some of those lives might be Hark Henry of the Thursday podcast. We're still working it out because the whole TikTok live situation is kind of weird to me. It's kind of weird to me. And, we want to get more content out there. We want to get more engagement. And also we want to build up more residual income for our brand. And some of the stuff that we see out there just really doesn't make sense. But these people are making money, and money is the key to everything. And, it's not what we do this for. We do this because we have a passion for it. But, we have to pay bills. And, TikTok's all about engagement. And we do want to engage and we want to connect and we want to spread our platform out a little bit more. We want to touch more people. So when we go live, we're probably going to address certain topics. Maybe after we drop a podcast or episode, we'll go on and share some light on it, open it up for discussion, critique it or whatever. We'll probably definitely talk about current events. And I know with the two Harks, they do talk a lot about relationships. So they'll probably talk about the things that they see in reality shows, the things that's coming across social media that's really tearing relationships apart. With me also being a part of being the CEO of Sons of SPPhillips, I'm going to get on there quite a few times, and I'm going to talk about some fashion do's and don'ts, because a lot of you gentlemen out there are doing a lot of don'ts, and a lot of you gentlemen out there are way too old to be doing don'ts, and I'm going to start calling you on it. You're making don'ts that you should not be making at the age of 30 or 40 years old. These don'ts that you're making should have been a mistake that should have been corrected at the age of maybe 15 and 16, and maybe you should have got away with it at the age of 20. But somebody should have corrected you. Somebody didn't. Now it's my turn and my time to do that. So I'm going to help you guys out with your fashion etiquette, fashion sense, and your style, because it's just a little bit too much going on out there, and it's got to stop. So anyway, that's what's coming down the pipe here. So TikTok, SPP Media, go follow. We're also eventually going to set the store up to sell through TikTok. We're still working. I thought it was already hooked up, but it's apparently not. So it's just one of those things that we're still working through. It's always something with this stuff. So let's go ahead and dive into this, and let's get it going. So if you're ready, go ahead and put me on pause. Get your cigar, light it up. I want you to relax, sit back, because I want you to retain all this information. I want you to share this information, and I hope that it strikes a chord. I hope this information that we're sharing touches the younger generation, because it's all about hustle culture, and our society today is really going nonstop. And sometimes I think it needs to slow down because things are happening. Again, we want to be mentally aware and mentally fit as we go through our daily lives. And as this is Men's Health Month, as a man, we deal with a lot. Regardless if you're an African American, if you're Irish, Asian American, Italian American, Latin American, whatever, as a man, we deal with a lot. If you're married or you're recently divorced, there's a lot on your shoulders, especially if you're a father, if you're a husband, if you're a divorced father, if you're a single father, there's a lot. If you're a new husband, if you're recently engaged as a man, we deal with a lot. And it's hard to share those things, and it's hard to process those things. And that's what, again, this is one of the things that the Elephant Wisdom is about. Domination. We want to dominate each day. So we try to come up with topics that will balance these out. And I hope that I'm addressing as many of these topics. Some of these topics I address, sometimes they may sound repetitive, but I want to get these points across. And if there's something out there that you feel like that I'm not addressing strong enough, remember, I said this is your podcast for motivation, inspiration, and domination. All you got to do is send us a DM. Tell me what you think I need to talk about. I'll get that out there in a week for you, and I will tag you in it. Matter of fact, if it's that important to you, I will schedule you on the podcast, and you can be a guest, and we can get it talked out, and you can express it however long it takes you to express it. Because, like I said, this is your podcast. So let's get it ripped. In this age of hustle culture, we are conditioned to believe that success comes at the cost of sleep, health, and peace of mind. But is that really the only way? Today, we're breaking down these sciences, the strategies, and the real world insights that show us another path. I'm going to give you a sustainable approach to ambition that prioritizes health as much as it does achievement. I'm going to break down the hustle versus dilemma, the science behind peak performance, strategies for sustainable success. I'm also going to talk about redefining success beyond hustle culture. And I'm also going to talk about the inner blueprint of mental and spiritual well-being. So, like I said, lock in. I've poured me a Sprite passion fruit with some bourbon, and I've already been sipping on this, and I'm feeling kind of good. So get you some tea, get you some water. Like I said, light your cigar. I want you to retain all this information so we can go ahead and move forward. So let's start with this elephant in the room. I'm not talking about me. I'm not talking about Enrique. We're not talking about the Elephant Room Studios, and we're not talking about the Elephant Wisdom Podcast. We're asking, why does ambition and well-being often feel like opposing forces? We admire the grind, the relentless pursuit of success, but the glorification of overwork comes at a very steep price. Burnout, mental fatigue, and even physical decline. And here's something that needs to be said out loud. Burnout is technically not classified as a mental condition, but it is real and it is very serious. It's a complex response to prolonged or chronic stress that shows up in every part of our lives. It shows up physically, it shows up emotionally, it shows up mentally. And depending on the severity, burnout can lead to fatigue, insomnia, and irritability, unexplained aches and pains, and even rob us of satisfaction in what we work so hard for. So we need to recognize burnout before it gets out of hand and before it becomes critical. So maybe some of this stuff sounds familiar to you because it sounds familiar to me, and it's stuff that I'm really working on. Feeling emotionally drained even on your days off, a complete drop in motivation or drive, trouble concentrating or staying focused, disconnection from your work, your people, or even both at the same time, frequent headaches, illness, or just feeling physically off, changes in your appetite or disrupted sleep, or that nagging sense that what you do no longer feels fulfilling. If any of that is striking a chord, then you're not alone. These symptoms are warning signals. They're not weaknesses, and you definitely should take them seriously. That could be the smartest move you can make right now for your life and your career. So there's a science behind being at your peak performance. So let's lift the hood and look at the mechanics of what's going on behind us, because hustle doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's driven by something deeper. So let's talk about FOMO. And FOMO is an acronym for the fear of missing out. It's that quiet pressure that's whispering in your ear telling you that if you don't hustle harder, someone else will outpace you. The pressure that keeps your engine running even when your tank is empty. Then there's that perfectionism and this high achiever wiring of that a lot of us carry. And if it's not that striving for excellence is bad, it's when it becomes relentless and it starts breaking us down and taking over other aspects of our life, like being on a treadmill that just keeps accelerating while you're just trying to keep your footing. But let's talk about what this is doing to our actual brains, what it's doing to our attention spans. The shrinking, the constant task switching, the inbox dings, the multi-tab days. It's like we're developing a collective form of cognitive ADHD. Yeah. And all of that multitasking, it's overloading our mental processors. Our brains only have so much bandwidth. When we spend all of it chasing output, there's little capacity left for strategic decision making, introspection, or frankly even peace. Even though our brains are, in a sense, computers, our brains can only hold so much. It can only do so much. And even though computers were designed and created to help us do more, I think it's overloading us sometimes, especially with social media and internet. It's just so much information. It's so much to keep up with. It makes things easier, but it's giving us the opportunity to do so much more, so much time. And with that, our creativity could take a hit. So with all that time being taken up, innovation doesn't spark like it should when we're under this constant pressure. Sometimes our brain needs oxygen. Sometimes we need mental space. And sometimes we do need boredom. Because when that noise never stops, those eureka moments get drowned out. I know, like, sometimes when I'm laying down, there's like these first couple minutes, and I don't know why I don't have a notebook by my bed, but it's these first couple minutes before when I'm awake and I'm falling asleep where I get these great ideas, and I never write them down, and then I never remember them when I wake up. This is why our performance isn't just to drive. It's about design. It's about protecting your mind. Energy isn't a luxury. It's the foundation of doing your best work. We're going to take all this insight and try to actually apply it to our lives. Sustainable success doesn't mean watering down your ambition. It means backing it with habits that protect your mind and body so you can keep showing up powerfully over time. Let's start with our boundaries. One of the smartest, most underutilized tools we have is learning to set